Hello everybody, Elizabeth here with Country Peony. I'm so excited that you're here. Welcome to episode 36 of Coffee and Crafting. And if you're new here, Coffee and Crafting is just a way for us to craft every Monday at noon Central Standard Time here on Facebook. I think it is so important to take some time to create every single day, even if it's just for 5 minutes. And in today's, we're doing about 30 minutes. And so I try to do a very short craft to inspire you to get started and to complete something, so then you will continue to create. So today I am so excited because I'm doing one of my favorite crafts, which is needle felting. I have invested a lot of time into needle felting in the last couple of years because I truly, personally love it so much, more so than I thought that I would. Because it is a super therapeutic craft. The process of felting the needles up and down is so therapeutic, and it's actually a lot simpler than it seems. I was really intimidated by needle felting. It took me a while to get started because I thought, well, I can't do this. This is pretty difficult. But it's not. And so I created a course for beginners if you're interested. And today, I'm running a special with this Facebook Live. If you use the code Facebook Live, and in the description below, I've got the course link there. But if you use that code, you can get the course for $20, which is crazy. That's the lowest price I've given it. But I really want you to get started, and I really want you to try because I know you're going to love it so much. So I focus on beginner-friendly projects, like I said, just to get you to inspire, just to start creating. And that's what we're going to do today. I'm actually going to show you how to make this adorable felted daisy. Look how cute it is. I made a more classic one in white and yellow, but I love the fact that you can play with colors because that's part of the beauty of needle felting is the wool roving comes in so many incredible saturated colors. And if you've been here a while, you know that I love colors. And so let's get started. Let me finish my coffee and we can get started. So before we get started, if you have any questions, I have linked all the details below, my favorite places to buy my needle felting supplies, my favorite needle felting supplies, and so forth. And then also my course if you're interested. But I also just love making things like this adorable little strawberry, and I've made this really fun rainbow, which is really cute. And then I love making like brooches and pins, which you may have seen on a recent episode of Coffee and Crafting. So needle felting for me is more about the process and the therapeutic nature of it than the actual finished product, but that's really fun too. And this is a scrap heart. I made this from scraps of wool, and it's so cute. I love it so much. Okay, so before we get started, I want to tell you what you can do with these pieces. A lot of people ask me, this is great, Elizabeth, but what do I do with that? Okay, so for instance, with this, you can add a magnet to the back. You can turn it into the cutest fridge magnet. You can also put a brooch on it and turn it into the cutest pin, which pins are having a huge moment now. Or you can turn it into a hairpin, all the fun things. That's actually what I did with these. I put a brooch on the back and I turned this into an adorable brooch. You can make them into gift tags. And the cool thing is you can gift them to friends. So you make a whole bunch of them and you gift them to friends, and it's so cute. So let's get started on making these adorable felted daisies just in time for summer. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below. I'm happy to answer them. And as a reminder, if you use the code Facebook Live, you get my beginner-friendly needle felting course for $20. Okay, so let's get started. My first thing that I always do after I decide on a project is I figure out what color scheme I'm going to go with. And so I love this wool roving from Gansett. It's incredibly well made. It's a merino wool, which I love using 100% wool because you get a beautiful finished product. You don't have a lot of fibers in there. So honestly, it's not the hardest part, but it's a fun part, is picking out my color story. So today, I think it'd be fun to do a navy center with like a I think these two colors are beautiful together. So we're going to do a purple flower with a navy center. Okay, so I'm going to put these aside. And plus, they're just so beautiful to look at. And that's another reason I love needle felting, is because the materials are so fun. Look at this. It's gorgeous. Okay, so we're going to get started. I'm going to use, this is Clover's pen style needle felting tool. If you start needle felting today, this is the tool I recommend getting. It is so great. It's got 3 needles in it, which allows you to pierce faster. And then you're also going to need this mat. And then you're going to need your wool. And for today's project, we're actually using a cookie cutter, which is kind of my secret weapon for especially when you're just starting, because it makes it so great and so helpful. And you can just get started. Okay, so I always pull the wool. I never cut it, because when you pull it, you get these beautiful raw edges that really work seamlessly together when you felt them together. When you cut it, your edges are super crisp and it doesn't go in together. And I kind of pull them apart just a little bit, and I'm going to place that cookie cutter directly on my mat. And then I always start with less, and I can always add more. So I just want to make sure that the bottom is covered, and then I can start felting. So all I do is I'm going to go around the sides of this cookie cutter to get a nice crisp line, and I am felting, stabbing up and down, not side to side. It's going to be up and down, and there are 2 reasons for doing that. The first reason is it's safer that way. You're not, worried about stabbing your finger, and the second reason is you don't break your needle that way either. So it makes it really easy, and you can see it's just a billowy amount of goodness right now. But it will be something very, very soon. And I actually wanted to show you this in real time to show you how it took, how long it takes. So we started about 2 minutes ago. So you can see it doesn't take a lot of time. That was one question that y'all were asking me. They said, I want to start this, but I don't really have the time to start a new craft. And I totally get it. I've got about 5 projects that I'm still working on. But this is so fun because this is something you can do at night. You can put a good movie on and have it in the background, and you can just enjoy this process. It is so fun. And so all I'm doing here is I am just felting around the edges. As you can see, I'm going to make a crisp, clean edge with my cookie cutter. I've got some bare space here, as you can see, so I'm going to add a little bit more wool, which is completely fine, because the thing is it's really hard to take the wool away once you add it. It's a lot easier to add it, so I always recommend starting smaller and adding to it. And please, if you ever have any questions on needle felting, my messages are always open. I'm happy to answer it. You can even send me an email, elizabeth@countrypeony.com, and that also goes for any crafting questions you may have. And if I don't know, I will find out. Okay, so I've got another gap here. So really the goal of this first go around is to make sure that I have a nice full and consistent amount of wool roving on this cookie cutter, and I am just piercing the fibers around the cookie cutter line to get that beautiful crisp edge. And I will be quiet for a moment so you can hear it. You can hear that beautiful sound of that wool being pierced and turning into this gorgeous felt. So I started needle felting about 4 years ago, and as I mentioned, it took me that long because I honestly was intimidated by the process. And so it is so fun. I love playing with new designs. And I love seeing y'all's designs. Some of y'all are incredible needle felters. So I don't do a whole lot of sculpted projects because I like to focus on simple projects, but I think it's beautiful all the same. Okay, so we are starting to get a felted piece. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sure that that wool stays in there. And then I'm going to peel it up and I'm going to turn it over. So you're starting from scratch on the other side. And I'm going to do this a couple of times on each side. And that is just so that my fibers can start to get mixed together. Some of y'all had asked about guards for your fingers. I do have some linked in my needle felting tools link below. I don't personally use them. Personally, I feel like they get in the way for me, but it's completely up to you. And especially if you are new to needle felting, it might not be a bad idea to invest in it. I do just recommend always keeping an eye on, see, I didn't prick myself, but I barely touched myself, on the needles and where they're going, because you certainly don't want them piercing you, because these needles are incredibly sharp. And so I also have this really fun handy dandy, this is a multi-use tool. You can clean your mat with this end, and this helps break up some of the wool fibers. It also is like a finger to keep your felting, your wool in place. So now I'm going to focus some more on just going on the sides of the cookie cutter, and the reason why I'm doing that is because I want a really crisp and clean edge with this daisy, because the shape is really what's going to tell the story, right? So you can see the edges on this are really beautiful and crisp, and the way that I got that was that I made sure that I had a defined edge, and the cookie cutter really helped me with that. So my cookie cutters are a really fun tool for me with needle felting. And also we've got these stencils, which are also for needle felting. You can find that on my Amazon page, which I've linked below as well. And so now that I'm going on the edges, I'm going to continue to do the edge one more time, and then I'm going to go in the middle. But these cookie cutters have been a game changer for me because it was a great way to start. It's a great entry point to start. So I'm just going to keep piercing that. And now I'm going to pull the wool off and pull it, turn it over again. And we're going to felt this side. So I do anywhere from 2 to 3 sides depending upon how much I want to felt it. That's another big question I get asked is, Elizabeth, my pieces are so furry or fuzzy or woolly. And my recommendation is just to felt them more. And it's just like anything else. You see what works for you, and sometimes I like a fuzzier look. So this one's a little bit fuzzier than this one, and it's really up to what you want and what look you're after. But I personally love needle felted projects because they give such a vintage inspired feel, and I love vintage pieces. I love pieces that tell a story. And these pieces tell such a beautiful handmade story that feel very nostalgic and old, which I love. Okay, so we're getting there. We're almost done with the actual flower itself, and then I'll show you how to do that adorable ball that sits in the middle of the daisy. And again, you can just continue to pierce, and the more you pierce, the more felted it's going to get. So that's totally up to you and what look you're after. Okay, I'm going to pierce it on this side. And then we are almost done. I would probably, if I wasn't doing this live, I would probably do one more time on both sides just to give it a little bit more felted goodness. But to save some time, I'm just going to felt it one more time on this side. And we can go from there. Needle felting has been really fun for me too because my mind, and I'm sure you can relate as a creative, my mind is always going and racing, and needle felting forces me to focus on my project at hand and what I'm doing, and it's so therapeutic and beautiful and fun because if I'm not paying attention, even though it's a very simple and fun process, if I'm not paying attention to my project, I can pierce my finger, which does not feel good. So I wanted to talk about my course a little bit. The course has a lot of video component to it, so you can see firsthand how to use every single tool, how to use techniques that will help you, especially as a beginner. And it also breaks down every single tool and what I use. It also has some very specific projects in there that are only available in my course. But the ultimate goal is to get you started. So today I'm offering it for $20, which I said is such a steal at the beginning of this, if you use the code Facebook Live at checkout. Okay, so That was 2 piercings on each side. And now we're going to take it off. Look how cute that is. I mean, come on. Okay, so from this to this, so cute. So if you look close up, there are some edges that aren't as defined as I would like them to be. So I'm going to take my felting needles. Honestly, first, I always have to practice safety because I can get distracted and then I don't clean that. So I took my felting needle, okay, and all I'm going to do here is I'm going to find some of the edges that need to be cleaned up just a little bit. So I'm going to take my felting needle and I'm just going to insert the needle directly into there. I'm avoiding my fingers because I'm just going straight into it. And that's just giving a little bit more defined look on this flower, which is really fun. And it's grabbing it. And felting needles are different than your ordinary sewing needles because they have barbs on them. And so that allows the felt to grab together and to pull and to pierce the wool to make a felted piece. Okay? So I'm happy with that. And now you're done with this part. Now all we're going to do is we're going to make that center. And this is really fun too. And this kind of shows you the start of a sculpted piece. So there's many different ways you can start a sculpted piece. You can use wool to make your sculpted piece and just keep rolling it on itself. But the goal with this is all I did was I took some wool and I want to make a full ball. And so size-wise, I think maybe I'll take a little bit of this away. Like I said, you can always add more, but it's really hard to take the wool away once you start piercing it. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to bunch it together into a little ball, like so. And then I'm just going to start felting it, and I'm going to roll it on itself so that I'm just rolling it. Sorry, I got caught in the moment. So all I'm doing is I'm rolling it into this ball. And I'm just continuing, trying to avoid my fingers. Again, if you want to use finger guards, you can. You can also use this tool, which is great. But you're just creating a little ball, basically. And you just keep rolling until the ball starts to really form into a ball, if that makes sense. So you're just felting all sides of it. And the way that you keep it symmetrical is you just continue to roll. That is the main goal of this, is you're just rolling until your ball is a nice even shape. It's so cute. It's turning into such a cute little ball. And again, I'm using the pen style needle felting tool for this because I like using the 3 needles. I also like the handle that it comes with. But you can use 1 needle. You don't have to invest in this tool just yet. If you want to just get started, there's nothing wrong with that. The only thing you need is a mat, a felting needle, and wool to get started. Okay, because you don't want to pierce into your table, and obviously it just doesn't work. Okay, so we're getting there. It's a little fuzzy, so what I'm doing now is I'm just cleaning it up because it's a little fuzzy, as you can see. So I'm just carefully cleaning it up, and I'm not stabbing all the way down. I'm just kind of stabbing the top of it, so it's so cute. I love that sound that it makes. It's so beautiful and so sweet. And I'm just continuing to roll it around. So cute. Okay, so we are almost there. Hello, Joanne. Thank you so much for joining me. Joanne, have you ever tried needle felting? I would love to hear. I can't remember if you've tried it or not, or if that's a project that you were wanting to start. Okay, so now all I'm doing is I am continuing to roll it like so. It's starting to take shape, which is so, so cute. It's so, so fun. Joanne, you haven't, I definitely recommend it. It's so much fun. And the cool thing is you don't need a huge workspace. So we're talking a kitchen table, and you just need a bin for your wool, and you need a bag for your needle felting supplies. Yes, I figured a needle felting, I know you've done a lot, so that's fabulous. But needle felting is fun too. You would love it. Okay. So look at that ball. Isn't that cute? So again, we turned this to this. That took like less than 5-10 minutes. And so, like I said, just like with making sure that my needles are securely put up, I also like to clean my mat after every use. You can see that dark blue spot. Just going to take a couple of times, pass this through, because the thing is, the next time I come to this, when I start needle felting, especially if I'm using a white or a light pink, if I start and those blue fibers get into my piece, it's not going to make me very happy. Okay, so the final piece of this project is we are going to connect the middle of the flower to the flower itself. And I love Beacon's Fabri-Tac for basically all of my crafting projects, but specifically anything with fiber or fabric. All I did was I applied a small dab to the back, and then I'm just holding it in place. Ta-da! Look how cute that is. Isn't that adorable? I love the use of different colors, the fun color stories that you can have. And if daisies aren't your thing, you could do a heart. You could do all kinds of really fun things. I love tulips, and so I love making tulips. This was a fun thing I did with the tulips, but it's really up to you. And like any of your projects, customization, what you're wanting, and honestly, just what makes you happy and brings you joy, because that is the whole goal of all of this creating process. So thank you so much for joining me today for episode 36 of Coffee and Crafting. I am so happy that you showed up. And if you have any questions, please let me know. But again, if you want to grab my course for $20, use my code Facebook Live, and that will get you $20 at checkout. I would love to have you in the course, and I would love to answer any questions you have. Thank you so much. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your Monday, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you, guys.